Hi everyone, welcome to episode 4 of season 3 of the Yarnivore podcast. I'm Sadie, I'm your hostess with the mostest, and I will be running through what I've been up to lately. And I apologize, it's been 2 weeks. This is probably going to be how it goes. As always, sleeping, wee one, and there's a snoot who is licking the couch for some reason. Sassy, quit. She does her own thing. Okay. Let's jump right into it. I have a finished object. It's my grotine. I finished my grotine, which is out of hand spun, which I spun a while ago. It's Nest Fibers. I think it might be the Posy colorway. Don't quote me on that. I didn't have the bag or the tag, nothing. I just know that it's Nest. I know that it's a silk blend, and I used up, I literally had like maybe 30 inches left over. So here she be. I also did not feel like doing a sewn bind off, so I just did a really loose bind off, and I'm fine with that as well. I still need to block it. I like the way the colors did their thing. You can see as it gets bigger, the stripes get more and more tiny. More and more tiny. They get tinier and tinier. But I like it. I think it works. And I'm going to block it, wash it and block it, and it's going to be a gift for someone. So that is that. As far as our knit along, I have noticed, and I know that linen stitch is a bitch to do in a short amount of time. So what I'm going to do is, if you've worked on it, submit a picture in by April 30th, showing your progress, and then I will draw prize from there. There is one finish. If any other finishes come along, I'll draw a prize for the finished and a prize for the non-finished. If there's only one finished, that finish will automatically get a prize, and then I will draw from all the non-finished. How does that sound to everybody? Good? So the rules are you have to be a member of the group, and you have to post a picture in the picture thread. There's been a lot of chatter. I've seen a lot of nice little things going on in there, so... And I know a lot of people who are jumping in and are afraid they're not going to make it, or know they're not going to make it and are still participating, and I want them to feel like they're a part of it. Okay, so right in front of me, my biggest cat, Kachansky, my current biggest cat, is 20 pounds of fluffy black doom, who we call the Deathloof, as you've met her before. She is currently headbutting the grooming brush and trying to lick it, which is very humorous to me. So, side note aside, go post a picture by April 30th in the thread if you have progress of any kind. Just show me your grotines and where they're at, and we will draw from that pool as well. Because why not? Because why not? I make all the rules here, and that's my new rule. There you have it. I also had food poisoning last night, both me and my husband. Joy. And so my throat is really raw, and if I sound really bad, that's why. But guess what? You don't get to take a break in mothering, and this is when I have time to podcast. So I'm also using natural light this time. You can see my change table right there. Guess who has diaper rash? Guess how bad it is? Yeah, it's really bad. You can't use reusable diapers when you're having diaper rash. It's a whole new thing for me because he's been in reusables for a while now, so yeah. Anywho, side tangents aside, that's where I'm at. I finished my grotine, was super excited about that. I actually want to start another one because, let me tell you, if you have hand spun and you don't know what to do with it, this is magical. Aside from the fact that like all the proceeds go to a good place and whatnot, I'm just in love with it. Also, Carolyn Dick. This is a Carolyn Dick pattern. It's grotine. I used, I believe, a 5mm needle, which was not the called for needle, but that's the needle that gave me the gauge I wanted. So please do decide on a gauge that is right for you, or follow what she says, because lidded stitch does tighten up a bit, but I've got great drape because of the silk. Like, I mean, look at that. Look at that definition. Isn't that gorgeous? That's gorgeous, right? Like, I'm not the only one seeing the gorgeosity going on here. So, yeah, look at those stripes. Can I just, so Carol and Dick, the pattern is Grow-Teen. There's a knit version, there's a crochet version. And because of her 40th birthday this weekend, she released another pattern that I might have to pick up. Maybe I'm over my shawl hump, I don't know. Because there was a while there where I was like, I'm never knitting another shawl. And I actually have a shawl in my bag, in my basket of whips that I haven't worked on in forever. Because I just am not feeling the shawl love. But this Grow-Teen thing, I might feel the Grow-Teen love. And she has a new shawl, and it's very pretty. I'll probably pick it up in a bit. Maybe after payday. I don't know. Okay, so that was my finished object. Now we're into works in progress. Works in progress. Yeah. I've had my prerequisite amount of coffee today, so. I am still working on the McDougall cardigan by Connie Chang Chinchillo. I did print out another version of the pattern so that I had the pattern printed. And so I printed it in grayscale so you can see better what it looks like there on the cute little baby. Is it a baby? There's a toddler. Oh, toddle baby. There's even a close-up of the back that shows you that it's a stockinette, but no. My brain is fried. This one comes in the finished circumference of 20 inches to 28 inches, which should fit a 6-month-old to a 6-year-old. It was knit in Finch. I could probably do one in Finch for the bub because I have enough to do that. For the 6-month-old, I can even do the 9-month-old one. Which I might because he's fitting 6-month-old clothes and he's only 3 months old. Okay, so the McDougall cardigan with only one L is pretty simple. I am making this up for a friend of mine. So I went to university with this person. We were very close through university and we've remained Facebook friends and whatnot. But in university, she had a teenager. Like, she had a child very young, so during university she had a teenager, and now her daughter just graduated high school and is pregnant, and so I wanted to do something for her, because, you know, that's what you do, and I already made the hat, and I'm working on this, which is very nice. I'm using a 3.5mm needle. I'm not sure if that's the called for needle, but I knew I got gauge on it because of the hat. And it is the McDougall cardigan. I am knitting it out of the Pound of Love that my husband brought to me when I was in the hospital, and it has no band, and it's got issues. I know it's got issues, it's fine. I'm just going to keep knitting random baby crap out of it until it's run out. Because, let me tell you, they go blah, blah, everywhere, like blah, blah. And unless you're knitting for a knitter who will understand everything, you can't really do stuff they have to hand wash. Knitters will get it and will probably already be hand washing their own garments, which I do, so that's fine, but this is for a non-knitter. So here's where I'm at. I finished the fronts. Now, everyone agreed, don't rip it out, just call it a design element, and I really liked that idea, so I stuck with it. And I finished both fronts, and I started a sleeve. And so the other great thing about this pattern, if you're looking for a pattern, it is a little more expensive. However, it does have a good range of sizes, a good range of options. And there's 2 different options for the sleeve. You can do a set-in contiguous sleeve, or you can knit a sleeve and seam it in. I love the fact that she's given you 2 different ways of doing it, and you don't really have to worry about figuring anything out. It's all there. So I'm almost done the first sleeve. And then I have another sleeve. Sleeves are where I get stuck, as you can see. However, it's going along pretty good. Then I have the neck and the button bands, and it'll all be done. There's there you go. That's the pattern there. It's called the oat pattern. And I like it. I think it looks good. This does call for a contrasting yarn, but I didn't use a contrasting yarn because I didn't feel like it. And there's my pattern feature. of a garter stitch back where it switches to stockinette on the top, and I don't think it looks bad at all. I think it looks like it might have been on purpose, so I'm okay with that. And then you have it a little bit in the front here where you switch to doing just the fronts. Super easy to follow, super intuitive. Once you get the hang of it, it looks big and scary because there's so many notes. As a more advanced knitter, I would consider myself an advanced knitter. There are a lot of notes I didn't need. However, if you're a not advanced knitter or an intermediate knitter or a newbie knitter or a beginner knitter, the notes that have been put in are great for you because it tells you how to decrease in this stitch for for each row in case you don't know how or in case you can't figure that out. So really loved that, and it's coming along. I'm hoping to, this should be done by the next podcast, and then I can show you and send it off on its merry way. Parched. Give me a minute. Talk amongst yourselves. I'll give you a topic. No, I won't, but if you caught that, yay. Way to go, Mike Myers. Okay, so next up that I've been working on in my Fat Squirrel Fibers bag, I had an idea in my head. My head has been full of ideas, which has led me to think I can design things. So I'm trying to design things. I'm learning a lot about how to do things and doing a lot of research and reading on that. But I've made sock designs many times. They're all available on Ravelry. Some are free, some are paid. Most of them are very cheap. So feel free to go forth and do that. But I've decided to knit this pair of socks, and I'm not going to show you the pattern. And it's either a half, you can either do it on one side or you can do it on both sides, and I've chosen to do it on one side for my pair, my sample pair. Are we okay? Okay, we're okay. To do it in my sample pair, just so I can show you progress, and because then I can knit it up easier and make sure everything works. I apologize, I just burped. I'm used to being by myself where I don't have accountability on any of the air coming out of my body, so I apologize. So that is the colorway from the back. It is Ancient Arts Yarn, which is a Canadian company, in the Beaujolais Nouveau colorway, which I bought because it reminded me of Andre the Giant. This is the 3-ply fingering sock superwash merino nylon, 80-20 split, and yeah, I'm enjoying it. I like Ancient Arts yarn. I'll probably get some more at some point, but yeah, and this is where I'm at. I'm hoping to be done the heel and onto the foot so I can send this out to test knitters maybe. I don't know. I'm using a US1 2.25 millimeter needle because that gives me the gauge I want. And I'm writing it for a small, medium, and large foot. So there you have it. I've been doing a lot of that and doing up the charts and writing it out while I'm knitting it because I tend to do those things in tandem, which is fine by me. Then I asked on Instagram, I posted on Instagram a picture of my whip basket, and I said, which project bag should I pick? Because I was having a horribly indecisive moment and I didn't know which one I wanted to pick. And I figured I could knit on pretty much anything in there. And the bag that was chosen is my Tangerine Designs bag. Most people, there were a lot of people were like the pink bag at the bottom, the 80s bag, the bag this is totally, which is this one. And, or Casey said my bag, which is this one. And a couple of people said knit 10 minutes on each bag, and I was like, I have no 10 minutes, man. I have no 10 minutes. If I have 10 minutes, there's going to be a bag. The way to knock these down is to go at them one at a time, for me, personally. Because if I picked them up and worked 10 minutes on one, I'd be like, okay, I'm just going to keep going until I finish it. That's my problem. Am I talking too fast? Slow the down. Okay. It's a gorgeous day outside. It's kind of overcasty. No rain. I love it. So this is the one that was picked, and I pulled it out and I started working on it. And it is the Piece de Resistance mitts by Bristol Ivy. Here is the black and white pattern. Everybody's seen these. Bristol Ivy, Piece de Resistance. I have finished one except for the thumb so far. It's kind of nice to get back into. Go away. Thank you. It's kind of nice to get back into the colorwork fingerless mitts because I have several pairs kitted up and ready to go because I really enjoy this, and I always remember I really enjoy this when I go back to it. So here's the finished first mitt without the thumb finished. There. Right? Oh no, that's a very heavy duty dream. And here's the second one. This is where we're at. I just started putting the thumb in right here. And there you have it. I'm using a US 1 2.25 millimeter needle. I'm 90% sure, yeah, I am. And these are this style of needle, which I can't remember what it's called, where they have the wood with the metal tips, which I enjoy until the joints get really prominent. I am using a skein of this. I have 2 skeins, but I'm using 1 skein, and I haven't run out so far, so I'll probably have a skein left over. It's Alchemy Yarns of Transformation Juniper 100% Superwash Merino. Oh my. In the colorway Rainforest. My husband got it for me. It looks like this. It's the background color. And then I feel like I have to represent for my friend Tabitha, the Stitch and Narwhal. We've got our Iowa guys, 2 Guys Yarn Company, the Standard and Sock, which is an 80-20 Superwash BFL nylon. In Key Lime Martini, the 2 Guys Yarn Company. There we go. And this is like, yeah, right there. Like, you can see this from space, I'm pretty sure. It's this gorgeous, like, vibrant green. There's going to be some left over, so I'm sure I'll use it for something else. It's colorwork based because I love it. I love the way it's being offset. So this is where I'm at. Having picked these up, I'm hoping to just keep going until I'm finished them, because who doesn't need powerful resistance mitts these days? And yeah, here we go. So the design is that one will have this on the back, and then one will have this on the palm, and then one will have this on the back, and one will have this on the palm. Alternatively, if you know what you're doing, you can just keep the cross hatchet, this diamond pattern going up all the way on one, and only do one with these. But I just didn't feel like altering the pattern. And I also screwed up the thumb. The thumb is backwards. I am fine with that. It should actually be dark green where it's light green and light green where it's dark green, but it looks good. So that's what happens when you let people pick your patterns, and I'm cool with that. So I'll probably ask Instagram again when I'm done this one, hey, what should I do next? Then I think that's basically everything I've been knitting on, except for something that is tangentially related. Remember how I said I was really into like figuring out my own stuff and becoming a designer? I'm going to take you on this journey with me. We're all going on the journey. We're going on a journey together. Are you ready? Are you ready? I've been watching too much RuPaul, you can tell. Ooh, the sun came out. There, went behind a cloud again. Okay, we're good. I've decided to design my own sweater. And I'm going to knit it up. I'm going to write it up. I'm going to make a pattern. I'm going to need testers for that. So if you're into test knitting a sweater pattern, knitted and fingering, but it's going to go from small to 5 extra large, which is roughly a 36-inch bust to a 60-inch bust, and then I'm going to have 0 to 4 inches of negative ease. So we're going big, or we're going bold. And I found a yarn I liked that I thought would really work with what I'm thinking about in my head. So we're at the point where I'm trying to get what's in my head onto paper and figure out the math. And I don't do math very well. But I have my husband and my mother who both do math and can help me out and like look it over. But this is how far I've gotten. This is my neckline cast on. So I did my setup stuff. And I'm not 100% sure, so I have to go back and double check on the math before I continue on, because if I want to rip it out, this is the time to rip it out. And I switched to the larger needle, which is a US 4 3.5 millimeter needle, and this is the yarn. And isn't it gorgeous? It is friggin' gorgeous yarn, isn't it? Isn't it? Which goes into, this is where we transition into haul, of which I have a little bit, and I keep leaning. And if you're wondering, that's a towel. And why do I have a towel? Because that's where Kachansky lays all the time. And when Kachansky lays there all the time, it gets really furry. So rather than having to steam clean the couch, which we do have the attachment part, and constantly roll brushing it, we just put a towel over and we change the towel out. Trust me, it makes a lot more sense in our world. So, there's going to be some crinkle. You're going to have to roll with me. I know you can. Some serious dreaming going on here. So I found the yarn I liked and I wanted to order. And it's from a BIPOC out of Canada, Rico, her last name starts with an O. Either way, Fiber Art Studio, spelled the Canadian way. And it's gorgeous. This is how it comes in skein form. It's 85% superwash merino, 15% nep or nylon. In the Crimson Blues colorway, this is her Donegal base. It's gorgeous. It's going to be amazing. I saw it as a grow teen. I know it's going to work. So I got this. It came super quick. The shipping was cheap. So if you're in America, the shipping is reasonable. Really reasonable. I know that shipping from other countries can be a bit rough, but this one was not. And I wholeheartedly approve of this message. So I got that for the sweater, which was really my big thing. And then this came in the mail with it. So if you're in the Another Crafty Girl club, if you did the month of April and you don't want to be spoiled and you haven't pictures up yet, I don't know why, but you may turn away now. I got my April color. It's the light bright inspired color. It's called From Pegs to Pixels. Isn't it gorgeous? And this was inspired by the light bright, and so you get the little write up. Comes in its own little bag. It's very cute. So super excited to see that. I'd actually forgotten about it completely, so it was a nice surprise on a bad day. That's my little bit of haul, but hey, it was, for a little bit of haul, it was a lot of money. Well, not a lot of money, but you know, when you buy a sweater's worth of yarn, it's not cheap. But I do feel more comfortable knowing that I'm supporting an independent designer or an independent dyer who is actively doing work in the community. Yeah. And then yesterday, no, day before yesterday, I was by myself with the bub, and I needed something to do that wasn't particularly loud, but I was over knitting for the time being. I needed something. So I dug this out, and I haven't actually done anything like this in, years now. Like, yeah, this is kicking it old school. I pulled out my drop spindle. One of many. I have many. This is my Subterranean Woodworks. I don't remember what the weight is on this guy. He's really small. He's probably 0.4 or less. But I love him. I don't know why it's a him. But... And I had been working on Sunrise Series and Lavender Sunset Poonies. This is a creation. It's a Surrey BFL Angora blend. And so here's some of a poonie. And I actually did an entire little turtle. If that's what these are called, I'm calling mine a turtle. So there's one. This is the third one. I had two I did ages ago. So I have one more to do. And then I'm going to apply them all together. But it's something I can do that I can easily pick up and put down. And for some reason, it's my current vibe and it works for me. And I can just drop spindle here, or there or anywhere while I'm doing things. And similar to knitting, it's just easier. I was going to break out the Hansen, but I'm not sure how he would feel about the noise, so I think he'd be okay with it. He's pretty okay with noise. Noises don't bug him. He just has to constantly be around me. Or the hubby. He has to be around people. He's not... If I were to put him in the crib right now, he would wake up. He will sleep here on the couch next to me, completely ensconced, so he can't move, and I'm not worried he can't roll yet. Like, any of you guys want to come for me, don't even try. But if I actually move him into the crib, he's going to wake up and flip out. So it's just easier this way. And yeah, that's all I've gotten up to in 2 weeks, but I'm feeling pretty pumped that I got up to all of that. I will be looking for some sock knitting testers probably in the next week or so to test the 3 different sizes. There's going to be a small, medium, and a large. So yeah, and it's lace and stuff like that. So if you're intermediate, I suppose it would be the best gauge of that. Maybe drop me a line and I'll pick the first couple of people for each size. I just want to make sure it's good enough that it's ready to go. Like I said, I want to get past the heel. Once I get past the heel, it's going to be really quick. I'm knitting them 2 at a time so I can double check everything at the same time, and that seems to be working okay. Sometimes I like to do it 1 at a time so that I can check on the second sock, but this one I just literally started 2 at a time. I don't know why, and I just kept going. So I'm kind of working with whatever process works for me at the time. Now, I have also decided that I've been, as you noticed from my last podcast, I've been gifted a fair amount of Madeline Tosh. And I have decided to keep it because I don't, it's a gift, and gifts are important to me not to get rid of. And B, I'm not at a point in my life where I can just get rid of it or something. But what I can do is when I knit it, I'm going to strip it. So if I do knit it, I'm not going to say who it is. I'm not going to give you a colorway. I'm going to give you options and alternatives for other things. Because when I knit Knitter's Nightmare, which was my yarn company, you can't get that anymore. I stopped dyeing. But I can tell you that it's fingering weight, and I can tell you can go get it. Go get another fingering weight from pretty much anybody. So what I'll be doing if I knit with Madeline Tosh is I'm going to be saying who you can support. I'll give you a handful of dyers, different dyers every time that you can try out, etc., etc., to put out some positive vibes, because I don't like how they handled the whole thing. If you haven't seen the whole thing, you can go to places like Sophiatron on Instagram, Sukrita, or su.krita. That's another one who's been into it. Transistory. Either way, Ocean by the Sea, any of the big names who've been talking a lot about the BIPOC stuff. I just feel that Madeline Tosh did not respond appropriately, and then to kind of throw your workers under the bus is a little shameful, so I'm not cool with it. And while the sun is currently washing me out, so you can't tell, you must remember I am not a white person. In the summer, I will bronze up, and we will all be able to know that. But right now, I'm in my winter fade, so I'm questionable. I'm one of those questionable people. And no. Sour taste in my mouth. I will not be purchasing from them anymore. Just like Cascade, just like, all of the other problematic yarns. I think it's our duty as people who are purchasing things to speak with our dollars, because it's the only thing that businesses understand. And if you're sick and tired of hearing about it, then you got to do something about it, because people like me and people like the people who've been doing all of this work, we don't get to pull our skin off at night and say, no, I'm done. I don't feel like dealing with this anymore. We continue to live in a world where this happens, and it happens in the knitting community, and it doesn't need to happen. We need to create these spaces that are safe for people, and they're not. And bugs the crap out of me. So I'm talking with my dollars where I can, and I know it's hard, and I know it's even harder when we're talking about the difference between a brand that you can pick up easily and a brand that is going to be more expensive and harder to pick up. But I mean, there's no shame in using Red Heart. I'm sure they've got, like, I don't know what issues Red Heart has, but I do know that when it comes to buying, I guess Madeline Tosh is considered an independent dyer, but when it comes to buying independently, make sure you buy from companies that you support, because in buying their things and knitting their yarns and talking about them and giving them airspace and headspace, you're inadvertently giving them advertising, and you're inadvertently okaying what they've done. And so your inaction is a form of action. And that's why when I am knitting it, because I cannot choose, I personally have decided that I'm going to continue to own this stuff, and I'm going to knit with it, but I'm just not going to talk about it. So if I knit something and I'm not talking about what it is, I will be sure to talk about other dyers, other creators, etc. while I'm doing that, so that you can look those up or choose to go elsewhere for things. That was my little soapbox rant at the end there. I guess I should go, because this has to upload before he wakes up from his nap, and he's been really iffy on naps. And I know you don't come here for the talk about the bub, so that is what I've been up to. And yeah, thanks for helping me decide what to knit. Thanks for helping me decide to keep going on the other thing, because I'm pretty sure if I had ripped it out, I wouldn't be finishing it. And hope everyone has a great week. Come join us on the Ravelry group. It's Yarnivorous. Come follow me on Instagram. I'm SadieRuin, Blue Ruin on Ravelry. If you need me for any reason, you can reach me at both of those places. Do keep in mind I take a little bit of time to reply, because life. And yeah, bye everybody.